Hello AOS fans, Robin here. I'm back once more with a deck review for you, and this week I'm going to be playing the Eyes of the Nine. So I had a couple of issues with this deck, I have to say. Last week was a very busy week for me, and I ran out of time to compile the deck. Now this wasn't in itself a massive issue. I had the deck mostly built, but I was trying to put my cards together. Cards are slightly in disarray because I never seem to have time to sort them out. And I quickly chose my power cards. Now I was trying to get down to 22 power cards. I like to run 22 at the most, and I am currently playing with Frenzied Search in the deck. So I thought, okay, fair enough. I can manage with 22 and Frenzied Search. That works fine. So I didn't worry about it. So I got my 12 and my 12, and I went off and I played Pete, and we had a game. And it was only when I was looking through the cards that I realised, when I was playing the game, that I realised Well of Power didn't come out. And the reason Well of Power didn't come out is because I didn't actually manage to put it in my deck. And luckily, the cards that I did choose were legal, so the deck was legal, but I was sort of umming and ahhing, and I had my deck on Underworld's DB, and I was trying to sort it out, and then at the end I was looking through the cards and thinking, oh, I could probably do with that one, and I just completely didn't pick up Well of Power, and I thought I had, and so anyway, that's what happened. And I think there was another card missing as well. I can't actually remember what that was now, so I think I put Great Fortitude in for that one instead. But anyway, not to worry. As I say, the deck was still legal, and we had some good games with them, which you can see later in the week. So let me know what you think of this deck, and we'll see how much I miss Well of Power when we watch the matches. So in my objectives, I've got Master of Magic, which you score immediately for as an Eyes of the Nine card, and it's a score immediately one, and if you successfully cast 2 or more spells in this phase. So fairly easy to score. Vortimus is a pretty reliable caster. And I've got a few spells, and obviously he's got his spell attack action as well, so hopefully I can pull that off. Similarly, Rising Inferno, once he's inspired 2 attacks with his spell attack action, will score Rising Inferno, and that's why that's in there. And I've got a couple of other damage ploys. This Wrecking Change, I think it will do 2 damage, and potentially 1 certainly. The Sheer of Axes in there, so there's opportunities for other damage from spells as well. Fired Up. Charik is fairly easy to inspire as long as he doesn't die early on. You can score Fired Up with that. There's always a chance of scoring, inspiring Navia and Turosh and possibly Vortimus, although he doesn't tend to get inspired so much. You tend to kick him out of the way. He doesn't tend to make his spell attack action, but he might, and then he'd be inspired. But I have also got Blazing Soul in there, which could inspire somebody to help me score Fired Up. Keep Chopping. This is a suggestion of Andrew Marlowe. A lot of people like to run Keep Them Guessing with the Eyes of the Nine. I suppose it's thematically in keeping with them. Lots of different things going on and change and what have you. But Keep Chopping actually is a more consistent card for them because they have so many range attacks. It's slightly ironic that Keep Chopping is better with range because it's just much easier to shoot people every turn with Keep Chopping than it is to hit people with, we've got to be in close range, and you've got to have range to everybody. It's much easier to get in range to score Keep Chopping, and Eyes of the Nine are good at scoring it. Magical Storm. Now this is a tricky one. You compare it to the 2 glory for Keep Chopping, and Magical Storm really feels like it should be more than 2 glory. You've got to cast 4 spells in the preceding action phase, which is not easy. Martyred is probably a must-have in every Eyes of the Nine deck. Turosh or Navia normally die. I haven't put Calculated Risk in there because I kind of wanted to make it easy. I didn't want to make it easy for my opponent. I know there is the Calculated Risk Martyred matchup, which is quite nice, but I didn't want to make it easy for my opponent. I want to make them as hard to kill as possible. They're not that hard to kill either, but with the number of lethal hexes that go around the place these days, it could be very easy to lose Navia or Turosh after a Calculated Risk, so I haven't put that in there. Solid Gains, hopefully I can score 3 glory points in a round to score Solid Gains. Overpower, this one's pretty straightforward. It's a score immediately card. It's pretty straightforward for Vortimus if you are casting lots of spells. You've just got to get a crit to cast them. Shortcut. Shortcut is a card that you in the past has done me over. I didn't plan very, very well when I used it at the Grand Clash, but I think Eyes of the Nine, with the possible exception of Despoilers, because they have the guy with the innate hidden path type ability. I think Eyes of the Nine are probably the best warband to score shortcut, maybe, because they have a number of options to them. They've got an extra option, I suppose. They've got Deceitful Step, which is a good card anyway. You probably want to be taken, so shortcut is good for them. Warning Shot. Again, they've got lots of range 3 attack actions, and they're not very good. So they're quite good for scoring Warning Shot. Coveted Spoils, a slight risk, Coveted Spoils. But I reckon, certainly in the game I'm playing this week against the Grimwatch, but I might include this anyway, but you've got to cover all the objectives. Well, I think in these days you're looking at maybe just covering 2. And you can score Coveted Spoils. Of course, somebody is doing that, they might be scoring Supremacy, so it's like but it does cancel out as Supremacy if you can get on the other 2 objectives. So I think it's worth it. And Swift Capture, I think, is an increasingly taken objective. It's quite easy to score. Again, with the thing, guys like Deceitful Step and Shifting Reflection, Swift Capture is quite easy to score. It's the one where if you hold an objective in either friendly territory or both friendly territory and enemy territory, you score a glory, and it's a surge card, so it's pretty powerful. And then my gambits, as I said, I've got Deceitful Step, Racking Change, a spell with the potential to do 2 damage, which ties nicely with Rising Inferno. Abyssal Unmaking, to make Coveted Spoils a little bit easier to score, and you could end up in a situation where you can score Coveted Spoils and you screw up somebody's Supremacy, so that's, Abyssal Unmaking is a good card in the objective meta. Ether Flux. Ether Flux can help me where I need Foci. Could be useful. I've got a couple of tough Foci spells in here. Which may make them easier to get off. I love this card. I love the image on the card, and I love the concept of the card. I'm not sure it's as good as it actually I want it to be, but I do like to play it if I can. Arcane Recall. Now this is a bit of a risk, and of course, it's no use to me with Ether Flux. But if you get a crit, you can take 1 gambit spell from your power, discard pile, and add it to your hand. Potentially, you could use that. Could potentially be really powerful. Something like Abyssal Unmaking to take out 2 objectives could really, really screw over the objective meta. Mirror Move. I do love Mirror Move. That's in here just for a bit of extra movement shenanigans. I did drop Sidestep for it as choice. Let me know what you think. Is Sidestep better than Mirror Move? It's certainly easier to use. You can have times where you can't use Mirror Move, but Mirror Move is more flexible potentially. So. Anyway, Mirror Move's in there and Sidestep isn't. Shifting Reflection, again, ties up brilliantly with Shortcut, but also Swift Capture. Sphere of Akshi, bit of spell damage for Rising Inferno, and easy to cast for Master of Magic and Magical Storm. Sphere of Azir, a little bit tricky to spell, but again, there's an objective meta. It's reliable damage. It's pretty good. Frenzied Search for getting through the cards quicker to get out the spells. Mass Upheaval. This is like Andrew and I have been talking behind the scenes on Patreon. He's one of our supporters there. We do swap deck ideas, particularly Andrew and I for Eyes of the Nine. And he was trying to get Mass Upheaval to work to help score Coveted Spoils. And again, it's just a bit of fun. I don't know whether I'll get to cast it. I don't know whether it'll be effective if I do cast it. But we'll see how we go. And finally, Restless Prize for helping with Coveted Spoils and or screwing up Supremacy. And then the upgrades. Well, for my upgrades, Empowered Sorcery. And it's +1 damage to all spell attack actions, which is good for Vortimus. Gets up to 3 damage. The first 4 cards are effectively Vortimus only for this deck, which is perhaps a risk. A third of my upgrades are Vortimus only. Piercing Bolt, Sorcerer's Adept, and Arcane Familiar. Piercing Bolt is a cleave option. I haven't got what armor though, but it gives you a cleave option, which can be useful against shielded warbands. It's only 1 damage, but with Empowered Sorcery as well, it could be good. Sorcerer's Adept, the innate channel, and Arcane Familiar enables you to turn and roll into a channel. Arcane Familiar I like. It's one of those cards. It's probably not as good as I want it to be, but it's a card I like early in the game if you can get it, just to help you cast some spells. Guarantee Sphere of Akshi, guarantee Abyssal Unmaking. That could be really useful. The innate channel is possibly overkill, but again, if I could use Ether Flux, then maybe I'm going to be looking at innate channel with Arcane Familiar. It means basically I can definitely score, cast Mass Upheaval. Ether Flux, quite a lot of cards all coming together in one place to do that, but it could happen. Archer's Focus, ideal for Vortimus. Probably not going to use anybody else, but you could do. Crown of Avarice, perfect for the Eyes of the Nine. Makes Navi or Turosh less desirable targets. Or if you're going to go for them, you share the glory, or you take the glory. Potion of Clarity. Again, for helping those difficult casting rolls, my 2 focus casting roll makes it a little bit easier. Potion of Rage is in there for a twofold reason. One, it's really great on Kacharik. If you've got a key attack on Kacharik, it enables him to hit. He's going to deal 3 damage. Probably isn't going to kill some of your tougher fighters, your 4 damage fighters, which I might regret. But if you're going to a lower wound fighter, then Potion of Rage on Kacharik is brilliant because it can reroll any of his dice. But it's also really good on Vortimus for scoring over power on his spell attack action. Sudden Growth. Now this is the card I think I left in, or didn't added in instead of Well of Power. It's going to end up going on Vortimus, probably, maybe Kacharik, but Vortimus probably just to keep him alive. And with Vortimus moves fairly quickly, so you're going to be down to 2 move, and there's a number of push ploys and options for zipping around the board, shifting reflection, and Deceitful Step, that kind of thing. So Sudden Growth isn't a bad card at all for the Eyes of the Nine. Blazing Soul, because you really want Vortimus inspired, and if you can't get your spell off, but you have got this in hand, it gives you a chance. Spectral Armour, because again, if you haven't got him inspired, then it at least takes him up to 2 armour, and if you have got him inspired, it takes him up to 3 dodge, which is really good. And finally, Great Fortitude. I can't remember if I meant to leave this card in or not. I feel like there were 2 that I wanted to put in, and now I've forgotten what the second one was. I said at the top of the video. Great Fortitude is in there. It's good for Kacharik, makes him slightly less fragile, and it's obviously good for Vortimus as well. So that's the deck. Let me know what you think. I'm probably a little channel heavy, as I said, and we'll have to see how we go in the match. Well, I know how we went in the match, but we had a couple of great games, so I'd be interested to see what you think and what you'd have done differently. I know there were some effective Eyes of the Nine builds. I've done them myself in the past with the Blue Horror and Tomes, but I don't know, the Learned Horror, I'm not sure it's that good viewing, and I want to try and build something different, so we'll see how we go. So that's it, and I'll look forward to see you at the game.